Do all of us have 7 o'clock time to start?
Yeah.
Straight up and down.
Yes.
Okay. I call to order the February 2nd, 2021 meeting of the Columbiana City Council. I would like to ask Deanne to lead us in the invocation, and I will follow with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Lord, we ask for your presence and your blessing tonight on our community and on our nation. Be with our leaders and our volunteers as they serve our community. Give them wisdom as they make decisions to keep our citizens safe and bring peace and unity to our nation. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
You were frozen there, Rick. If you said anything, we couldn't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about, it is cold out. I don't know when I was frozen, but I'm asking you to call the roll.
Okay, I will do that.
Thank you.
Becker?
Here.
Souter?
Here.
McBain?
Here.
Liston?
Here.
DiTilio?
Here.
Banner?
Here.
Noel?
Here.
Willard?
Here.
Hudson?
Here.
Thank you, Deanne. You all received electronically a copy of the January 19th, 2021 City Council minutes. I would like to ask if anyone has any questions or comments regarding the minutes. Hearing none, they will stand approved as submitted. I don't believe we have any readings of communications this evening. Is that right, Lance?
Correct.
Okay, and I do not see any reports of commissions or boards on our agenda tonight either. For the recognition of persons desiring to appear, we have on the agenda the Chamber of Commerce is on to discuss holding the St. Patrick's Day event, parade and celebration. So I'm turning that over to someone.
You're muted, Nicole.
That would be me.
Now we can hear you.
Are we live?
We're live.
Okay, good. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
So the Chamber of Commerce has tried to think a little bit out of the box again to try and have some sort of festivities for St. Patrick's Day. And we have come up with a plan to have pods on the road that are 6 feet by 6 feet and 6 feet apart from each other. We are asking for it to be done on a Sunday, which I'll go through. It's going to be March 14th between the hours of 1 and 5 p.m. We were originally going to start it at Joshua Dixon, but if you guys will permit us, we would like to start it instead on Lakeview Drive from the park up East Park and down to South Main. We are asking that the road be closed from Lakeview Drive through the southeast, just the southeast corner of the circle, down South Main Street to Pittsburgh Street. And this will take place between 1 and 5 p.m. But East Park will open up quicker than that because as the parade progresses, we will open that road back up. It's on a Sunday specifically, so we can make sure that we control the the people on the streets. The big thing with the health department was crowd gathering, and this really helps us reduce the crowd gathering. We did send this plan over to the health department. They said it looks great. We're just waiting on one more thing, but they said to just proceed with it. We will have dividers that actually like map out and rope off where all of the pods are. And we will be sanitizing. We will have sanitizing stations, and we will have a little bit of crowd control. I'll be there bouncing people out if they're not behaving or not in their pods. We're also putting down areas in between the pods that you're not allowed to stand there, or you run the risk of being in trouble. So really trying to make sure that the crowd control is taken care of, which I feel pretty confident that we can reduce that crowd gathering pretty well. Then the health department thinks that the plan lets us too.
Nicole,
And-
I've had a stupid flash. How are these pods going to work?
So in what way?
Well, how are they going to control the crowds?
So they're actually going to be set up on, and this is going to be really hard for you to see. And this is not necessarily what they're going to look like. This was just what we showed the state. Can you see? Do you see the pods?
Yeah.
It's going to be like that, spaced out like that down the road. And it's only going to be on the southeast corner of the circle and down South Main Street to Pittsburgh. It's not going to be down East Park because that's residential.
I guess it's not important that I understand.
No, it's super important. I want you to understand. I want to understand together.
Well, okay, if you've got 150 people out there watching this parade,
There are there are only allowed to be 6 people in these pods.
okay,
They're not free. We will be charging for them to even more enhance the crowd control. So
okay.
there'll be 6 people per pod, and it's spaced out 6 feet between each pod. So maximum of 6 people in each one.
And how
So
many pods?
Well, we have to reevaluate that because we had a little bit different, but it's probably going to be around 50 pods.
Can I just say something? I know Nicole, Heidi DeCilio, Nicole keeps calling them pods. It's actually like a roped off section to get a clearer vision of what it would be. It would have 3 sides, basically like at a movie theater, they have, the velvet ropes connected to a pole. It's kind of like that. They'll be sectioned off like that. We obviously cannot control the crowd 100% on Main Street. People will be advised. There'll be a lot of chamber directors there. People will be advised to move to Park Avenue if they would like to watch the parade. If they have not purchased a pod, that'll help. Also, when we did the reverse parade, there were some people lingering and mingling on Main Street, but it really was limited. We did try to keep it as limited as possible by, with the reverse parade. So hopefully having these pods or sectioned off sections, however you want to call them, hopefully that will help keep the crowd control, and being able to divert them to Park Avenue will help control the crowd on Main Street, which is where we are responsible for the crowd.
So what these pods are, viewing like box seats per se?
Yes. Yes, per
Okay.
se. Yes, they'll be sold for $35 for a VIP, $25 for the other ones. And yes, and we've actually already, just with talking to a couple people, there are people that are very interested, in purchasing those just to be safe. People with children would maybe want to stand in a pod to watch the parade so they don't have to be around. And then between each pod will be like a roped off X so that people cannot stand in between the pods either, to help control that as well.
And you say we're not responsible for controlling the crowd on East Park.
Correct. That
So
is correct.
as many people as want to gather can on East Park.
Is that true, Nicole? Yes.
I mean, I'm not going to necessarily say that. I think that, you know, it's residential area. I don't anticipate there being huge crowds waiting or anything like that, but we've never done this before. We're trying to experiment and we're trying to get some people out of their houses.
No, I'm not against this at all. I think it's a great idea, and you've got the health department on board. That's wonderful.
Yeah, and we have in the directive that I gave to the health department that where the residential area is, that's not under us trying to do the crowd control. And I think saying crowd control is being like incredibly, I don't know, maybe a little bit of a bigger word than it should be, because I think crowd sounds really big. I think spectators is probably be a little bit better of a word to say. You know, I will be walking around, Heidi will be walking around, like she said, all the directors will. If we see a problem on East Park Street, of course I'm going to say something.
I thought of one thing, we sat in a meeting today with a hub meeting, the chamber and the tourism, and we talked a little bit about this, but the parade doesn't have to start until the square. So if you have a band in there, you could just not have them start playing until they get to the square. It would
I
be
see what you're saying.
uneventful to watch, if otherwise.
You're saying like anything that's performed or anything that, obviously they'll see the floats prior to Main Street, but
I personally don't think that any of that's going to matter. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not sure that even really matters, like where music starts or anything. I think if people are going to want to see it, they'll come outside.
I definitely agree with Nicole. I feel that with these events that did take place this past summer, with as tight as restrictions were and still are, there were multiple events that took place, Firestone Farms and other places, other communities, that the crowds were, yes, they were social distance, but there was a large number of people. I feel like for the most part, people don't want to be around other people anyway at this time. They're going to social distance, so, I just think that, the wine fest or whatever that was called this year went off very well. There was a very large crowd there, but it was controlled.
That was a crowd.
Yes, other events, I don't believe that the health department, they probably do have people in here and there throughout these events, but I've not heard of anything this year that has been shut down by the health department in the middle of an event because there was too many people there, or, it wasn't going properly. Nicole and I, our names are on this document with the health department that we take responsibility for, trying to keep people safe, and, which is why we decided to cancel the Christmas event, because the numbers were ramping up at that time for COVID. So, we just decided not to have that. So we were hoping that now, the vaccines are out, some people are getting vaccinated. The numbers are starting to come back down a little bit, hopefully, with a little bit of crowd control, for a lack of a better word, and a good plan, we can have a successful event here in March.
No, I'm all for it. I think it's wonderful.
Just one real quick question.
Yes.
If the parade doesn't start until it gets to the square, would it be possible to line up the parade in the alley between Main Street and Elm Street? And that way they would be coming out of the alley, make a turn up Park Avenue, and then be right at the square and on down Main Street.
We could potentially.
I don't think there's enough parking room.
The problem becomes, the reason that we decided to do the park, which I had actually spoke with Terry Schaefer this morning, and he felt that utilizing the Duck Pond Pavilion parking lot, when people are in a parade, there's like little kids or whatever, they get dropped off, or the parents wait in the parking lot or whatever. There's no space for that. I think it creates more of a problem if we do it on Elm or city street rather than just do it, straight down through the park there, starting at the.
If you did it on the alley on the south side of Elm Street, you would have parking at Heartland School potentially, and at the Grace Church, some of those other places. And they'd be right back. They'd be right back to where they started from, pretty much.
So we also have to take into account the people that are going to drive to get into these 50 pods.
Okay.
So that's the concern is the parking up there. I mean, we're not trying to keep the road closed, on East Park to the Circle for very long.
Yeah, I was just trying to come up with a way to limit the crowd on Park Avenue. If the parade wasn't going up Park Avenue, then it would solve that question. But I can understand. I hadn't thought about the other things that you've already brought up. So.
Right.
Nicole, have you talked to the chief?
We have not yet.
We wanted to get approval from council before we moved forward with anything else at this time. Obviously the health department, you are the next stop. And then from there, we'll talk with the chief for coordination as well.
We didn't want to create a buzz. Talk to you.
Too soon. Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
So this addresses this addresses the spectators. What about the participants in the parade? Are they given certain restrictions that the health department are recommending, or what?
The floats are responsible for their own people.
And within the guidelines, within the current guidelines.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're supposed to follow all of the Restart Ohio rules and regulations also. And honestly, the health department didn't even ask about that.
When we did the reverse parade,
our plan.
yes, when we did the reverse parade in December, all of the participants in the parade wore masks the entire time. They were within the guidelines at the time, so, and would be as well this time. But we're not going to do their temperatures or, have them sign waivers or anything, but all of the volunteers from the chamber will have to do that. So.
Could you just mention the time again? I was a little bit confused. It's March 14th. What time?
So we're saying that it's between the hours of 1 p.m. and 6 p.m., but the parade will be 2 to 4. Like, we need time to be able to set up.
So how long will that section of the circle be closed?
I would say less than 2 hours.
Right, just the amount during the parade. Typically, for the street fair parade, which actually goes that same route,
Right.
they only close the circle when the parade actually starts. And we would imagine, with talking with the chief, that he will have us kind of, I don't even know what section, like the south side of the circle is the only side that we would utilize, and then that would leave the north side of the circle still open for traffic.
So your pods there would be on the sidewalk?
They would be, yes. Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know, Lance, that seems like a couple hours seems like a long time to have that section of the circle closed. But wait for the chief's input on that.
How long does the street fair usually go for? I think that the street fair is a little bit longer than what we would probably be planning on.
Yeah, but I don't think the circle's closed that long.
Yeah, it is.
The street fair parade
Yeah.
typically is
Well-
about an hour and a half to 2 hour parade, honestly, by the time you get all the
Yeah,
cars through.
And it's
Yeah.
it's on a much busier time than a Sunday afternoon. So
Yes.
I think the Sunday afternoon will help a lot with traffic.
Which is another reason why we chose to do it on a Sunday.
Okay.
Well, I'll make a motion. We accept it as presented with the caveat that we get the chief's blessing and we keep the health department blessing.
I'll second it.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion?
So
Deanne, will you call the roll?
I have one comment really fast though. And I don't know if this has to be something separate, but we would like to enact the DORA during this.
Is the DORA still enacted currently?
It's still technically enacted, right? Or do we still have to ask permission?
You always have to ask permission for the DORA. But let's do that. Let's get this vote done and then we'll do the DORA.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, so I'll go back to asking Deanne to call the roll.
Becker,
Yes.
Souter,
Yes.
McBain,
Yes.
Liston,
Yes.
DiTilio,
yes,
Yes.
Banner,
Okay, so that motion passes. So we're approving the parade. Now do we want to go to that secondary discussion?
Yeah, we are requesting the DORA to be enacted from 1 p.m. until 6 p.m.
What
Yeah.
happened to the DORA that we were supposed to have the first part of December, first week of
We canceled the event.
December? Reason for that shutdown.
We canceled the event because the crowd control was not going to be easy for us to do, and the numbers were skyrocketing.
Do we,
So
right now, we have a door that's in effect to allow people to eat outside and carry liquor outside to eat. And, you know, that would essentially be in effect during the parade. The only question would be, do we want a door like typically with the paper cups and all the other stuff that we normally have? But I would assume they do that now. I don't know that for a fact.
Yeah, so this would be considered a special event DORA that, you know, it's a little bit more flexible than the normal DORA that you guys have on right now, Sunday through Saturday for the, you know, the outside eating.
Okay.
This would be an all out.
So, and one other comment I'm going to make is there are a couple of alcoholic establishments that are not even open on Sundays on South Main. So it's not going to be crazy. It's going to be very well managed.
Well, I could honestly see ours Pizza opening up on Sunday to do this.
As long as they have their license, like we're going to encourage Ours Pizza. I know that the other place, Shellabella's, I do not believe they have their Sunday license.
Okay.
So
I would assume ours Pizza would get involved in this because that should be a money-making event for them.
Ours Pizza doesn't have the Sunday license either.
Oh, they don't either. Okay.
Well, at least when they used to be open on Sundays, they would close off the alcohol section and wouldn't serve any alcohol.
well, regardless, we'll talk to them and see if they are able to do it. We would also like Generations to be open too, so we're going to reach out to them.
Yeah. And and certainly only one of them has to be available, and Birdfish is open.
Yeah, Birdfish will be
Sundays.
open. Yeah.
Mhm.
So your parade route is, how's that fall into the DORA?
It is the DORA.
Well, the door doesn't extend all the way to the park. It stops
Oh yeah. Well,
pretty
I
much at,
East Park. Yeah.
And the door down Main Street stops at Pittsburgh Street, is that right?
Right at the PNC Bank, where the
Okay.
electric charger is,
Okay,
right there.
at that alley.
Yep.
Any other questions about Dora? The Dora event? Does anyone want to make a motion regarding that?
I'll make a motion that we hold the door event.
Okay, there's a motion.
second,
There's a second. Dan second the motion. Any further discussion on the motion? Dan, we call the roll.
Souter,
Yes.
McBain,
Yes.
Liston,
Yes.
DiTilio,
yes,
Banner,
Yes.
Becker,
yes,
Okay, the motion carries.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, ladies, very much for your help with this. And we'll be looking forward to an interesting event.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
we-
let's
Thank
get,
you very
let's
much.
get this, let's get this kicked off and get this city rolling again here.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I am totally in, Skip, no doubt. All right,
Thank you
goodbye,
very
everybody.
much.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Thanks for
Bye-bye.
thinking, thinking inside the pod on this, guys.
Oh, put it up.
How long have you been waiting to say that, Lance?
He thought of it when we said pod. He's like, I've had this great joke. We wrap this up so I can say it. All right, bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Mhm, thank you. Okay, now we're going to turn to the manager's report. Lance, you're on board.
Well, thank you. So we've been talking to a couple companies, industries about their expansion. We've got A+ powder coaters in Yesco. We're going to be going to school this month with a 75% 15-year tax abatement on their projects, very similar projects. And we're excited about that. We'll see what the school has to say, but they've been very supportive when it comes to industrial aspect of it. The OACP performed their assessment, and we're working through that right now, and hopefully have some information for you on the selection of the new chief. That's the OACP did that. I believe it was the January 23rd. The auditors did complete the 2019 audit, and we're going to have an exit audit this week. The Salem Street Stormwater Project should go out to bid very soon. That is that FEMA project that we're already approved. We did find out some kind of neat news. I mean, it's, we've kind of known, but we did rank fairly well with the Ohio EMA, with the other two stormwater projects that we have in the chamber, if you will. And that one is in the Beverly Ray area, and the other one is East Park Avenue down the Pittsburgh underneath the railroad. So we should find out sometime in the late spring, early summer about that. And those are pretty big projects. And if we're able to land those, that'll be really something, and it'll really take a big chunk of our stormwater plan. So if we can cross our fingers and get those three done, that'd be fantastic. To Planning Commission, they did talk about a sewer extension out near County Line Road. We've got a meeting set up with all the landowners out there in the next week, and I'll be reporting back to you on that. We did have the training on the technical upgrades for council chambers, and we actually tested it out. I think it worked pretty well. I'm going to be testing it out over the next few weeks. I've got a couple meetings scheduled. For example, I've got one tomorrow at noon, and I'm going to, basically have a fake Zoom meeting and see how it works. But it does allow the crowd to participate, and all of the council members would eventually be sitting in there. We do have some of the barriers up, and we'll be getting a hold of you and the health department eventually to take a look at that after the technical review board or commission, takes a look at it. We did send an ODOT grant application in last week, and that is the phase 2 of the safety. As you recall, we did that loop where we took the gutters and converted them and put sidewalks in, and we were able to make it through the first round of those. And they asked us to do a full application, and we turned that in last week. The volunteer energy, we do have a gas aggregation program. They did release their new rates. I think it was on the 19th. We've got it on the website. It's 0.405 cents per cubic foot, and that runs from April 21st through through March of 2023. So that's from April 2021 through March of 2023. We do have a few meetings coming up with R&B for that phase 2 improvement project. I did want to point out that the chamber, Nicole and Heidi left, but they do have a meeting out at Firestone this weekend. It's on the 6th, and they're going to be playing Caddyshack and Groundhog Day. So it's socially distanced. They did. I think that was December. In December they did one, and it worked out really well. And I'd highly encourage you to participate. You can buy your tickets in advance, and actually you go out. It's out at Homestead, so you're used to looking at the front of the half building where the concerts are. Actually, they take those video screens that are 40 foot by 15 foot, and they turn them all the way around. So you're actually sitting behind in your vehicle behind that half house, looking towards the fountain and looking up, and you can see the big screens. Really well done. The chamber did a fantastic job. I think they teamed up with tourism, and they did raise some money, and that was nice. I believe they had around 60 or 70 cars. I think they raised over $1,500. And again, you can look it up on Facebook. It's for the chamber. That's this Saturday, and there's 2 movies. It's $10 per movie per car. But if you go to both movies, it's $15 for both of them. Street department, we plowed. Well, at the time of this report, we had plowed 7 times and salted 13. But crews were working pretty much around the clock the last couple days. We have used more salt than last year put together, but we're still really good. We're in really good shape on salt. I know that's always an issue or a concern, and we're set up pretty good with that ODOT contract. We did patch holes, use 6 tons of cold patch. We are maintaining street signs throughout the city as weather permits. Water department, they did have a couple forced main breaks. This cold weather will do that. And actually they did one today, and they were able to get it all buttoned up by 6 o'clock tonight. Wastewater, they're just maintaining and cleaning several storm lines and some sewer lines. The park and cemetery, I know I've talked about the Joy Christmas the last couple meetings, but they are completely done with the cleanup that's inside and outside of all the pavilions. And, again, we thank Larry Weber and his crew and everybody that participated in that event. It was a great event. For electric department, we're still working with GPD on the SCADA system. So basically, we're going to be able to watch everything from home, the inside of our north and south substations, see what's going on. If we get a call, there will be a camera in there that we can look around and not have so much, not have a wait time. And also for safety reasons, you can be outside of where the electric is. We are looking to clean up some property lines for the new line shop, and we're going to be coming to Planning Commission and Council soon to clean that up. It's nothing major, but I think we're on the agenda. I will say Planning Commission packet will be going out tomorrow, and I really hope you can all tune in. We've got a full docket on the agenda. It's going to be a long meeting, and some exciting stuff's going to happen in 2021. So that should be pretty neat. I will say on a personal note, this isn't, I probably could have waited till council comments, but tomorrow is my complete 8th year for being city manager. So I do want to thank everybody for that opportunity.
Is there term limits?
No.
that you, Brian? But thank you for the opportunity. I really, really appreciate it. And it's been a great run, and we're gonna keep going. So,
Good
We thank
deal.
you for that.
yep, you're welcome. I think that's everything in my report, Rick.
Any questions for Lance?
Yes, I just have one. Somewhere in my mind, I recall that we were going to go back and look at the door to see if we needed to refine any points on that after a year. Are we past that deadline, or should we be thinking about it, or?
Yeah, we actually we did meet about it at the year point. I think this is boy, I think we did that at the end of 2019, if I'm not mistaken. But I will definitely check it out, and we can always look at it before this year. Oh, I did have one more thing, Rick, excuse me. We do have a civil service test coming up a couple Saturdays from now for an officer's position. So we have we did have a couple officers go to the county with the regime changed, and we're going to be looking for some new officers. So that test will be given, I believe it's the 13th. So you might see that in the paper.
Very good. The one question I wonder, to help the public out regarding the volunteer energy program, could you kind of discuss that a little bit so it makes it clear? Like, I'm seeing people wondering, are they going to have to get off Columbia Gas? You know, could you just explain how that works?
Yeah, so it is a opt-out program. So it's a Ohio Revised Code program. Basically, if you're in Columbiana, you're going to be on the volunteer energy rate, and everybody that's if you didn't pick up the phone and change a carrier to provide your gas, it's going to be volunteer energy. We went together, got together. We've been doing this, I think, for about 15 years, give or take. And basically, we're power buying our gas and you know, and providing it to our 3,200 or so accounts. And we have this gas aggregation program that kind of lines up with AMP that we're on electric. So there's over 100 entities that get together, and we all go together and pour resources and lock in a good price for that gas rate. So Columbia Gas still provides you the gas, you know, it comes into that, you know, through their pipes, but you're going to, you're going to get that rate. And if somebody wants to, you know, not be in that program, you just simply, you're going to be getting a card in early February that will, or a little letter, and you can just call that number and tell them what, you know, that you want to opt out, and you can go with whatever carrier you want for the gas rate.
But this is a good deal, and nobody has to do anything to keep it.
Correct.
Basically what you're saying.
Yeah, and it's locked in for 2 years, and we watched the rates, you know, over the summer. We waited, you know, one day we were going to pull the trigger, and you know, the gas market is very volatile, and you know, it goes up and down throughout the day even, and you know, we're sitting at our computers waiting, you know, with the people that line that up, and they lock in the rates when they think it's going to be, you know, best to do that.
Very good. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Okay. If there's no other questions for Lance, we'll move to the bill list of February 2nd, 2021. Are there any questions or comments on the bill list from anyone? Okay, thank you. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to read the ordinance by title only.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Deanne, will you call the roll?
McBain,
Yes.
Liston,
Yes.
DiTilio,
Yes.
Banner,
Yes.
Becker,
Yes.
Souter,
Yes.
Okay, so that is passed. I am now going to read ordinance number 21-0-3064. This is the second reading. An ordinance amending section 5.2 of the Policies and Procedures Manual of the City of Columbiana, Ohio.
So move.
You have a motion
Second.
and a second. Okay, are there any questions or comments on the motion? Hearing none, I'd like Deanne to call the roll.
Liston,
Yes.
DiTilio,
Yes.
Banner,
Yes.
Becker,
No.
Souter,
Yes.
McBain,
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries 5-1. Is there any new business? We don't have any listed on the agenda. If I'm not hearing any new business items, we need to move to executive session. I would ask if there's going to be any action taken after the executive session.
No.
Okay, so there will be no action taken after the executive session. So at this point, I would like to move our agenda, ask if there's anyone from the public that would like to make a comment or ask a question at this point. Okay, hearing none, I would like to ask if there are any council comments.
I have just one. When Lance talked about what your 8th year as city manager, it just reminded me that I got to vote for you as city manager, and it's my 8th year on council as well.
Oh, cool. That's very cool.
So Dick, are you saying you're holding him up? Okay,
I think Dick is trying to take all the credit.
Yeah.
yeah, you take all the credit.
I can say this, the council definitely looks different, so if you were there, Dick, Deanne was there, and Mike, the finance director that comes to the meeting sometimes was there, and everybody else is, I believe, is new, so.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
that's
have
good.
I have one thing to bring up. The Ethics Commission reports are up and coming on. Once we complete that, how do we get that documentation to Mike?
You can just give us a call or scan it, or just give me a call, we'll get it.
Okay.
I just emailed the receipt to Rebecca.
Yeah, that's all you need to do. Yep.
Okay, any other council comments?
Just real quick, I got to sit in on one of Lance's tests of the new audio video in the council chambers. The quality was excellent. I know there's still a little bit more work to do, but definitely moving in the right direction. So, although it's hard to say with the pandemic how soon it'll actually be safe for us to go into council chambers. One question I had was if we're going to be required to wear masks, because I really don't want to sit in council chamber and have to wear a mask. So that'll be something we'll discuss in the future. But technically, it's moving along nicely. The sound and video is excellent. So
That's good to hear.
Yeah, good work on that committee. That's good work. We're glad you're working on that. And I know we all want to get back in there. So hurry it along as fast as you can. I would like to make just a quick comment, and actually report something. As most of you know, we have been working, the progress committee that's been involved here in the community. We've been working with the school, the entrepreneurship class. And this week, if I get all my weeks straight, or was it last week? No, it was this week. We did go out to the school and they made a presentation to us on the alley project. And it was really a lot of fun. I know Skip was there. We got a chance to hear from the students. What I want to tell you, gentlemen and ladies, tonight is that we feel so strongly about what's happening here that we want to bring you and possibly some other prominent people in the community into this process. And Lance is working right now on developing a plan where hopefully we can meet at a location large enough so that we can all socially distance ourselves and actually have the students make the presentation. It's a PowerPoint presentation. I think every one of you would love to see it. And we're hoping we can make that thing happen very shortly. And whenever we get this thing set up, I really encourage all of you to come and see what these young people have worked on. I think it's truly exciting, and I'm really interested in getting some input from you gentlemen on where we need to go with this alley project, at least initially. So you will be informed here very shortly when we can get that meeting set up. If there wasn't COVID, we'd be doing it, tomorrow. But because of the COVID restrictions, we're having a little problem with this thing out. So we're all working on that, and I really hope that you all can make an effort to come. And as a sub comment to that, as we walked through the schools and got the chance to see our high school in complete operation, if we hear what's going on in this country with the schools not opening up for a year, and to see our students back in the classroom, back in the community, playing sports, I just want to say that to our school board, to the superintendent, to our teachers, and to the students, it's really exciting to see what we're doing here in Columbiana County. And I will say it is happening in Columbiana, but it's happening all over the county. And I really would like to just say kudos to all the people that are making that happen, because having kids stay at home is not a good thing. And I'm really glad that with the coordination with the health department, we were able to keep those kids in school. So I just want to throw that out for whatever it's worth. Any other comments or questions? If not, I would like to ask if we could have a motion to go into executive session to discuss pending litigation, section 121.22 G3.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion is second. Dan, can you call the roll?
Tilio,
Yes.
Banner,
Yes.
Becker,
Yes.
Souter,
Yes.
McBain,
Yes.
Liston,
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries. We will now move into executive session.
Go on there.
It's a tough thing when you're playing Hollywood Squares.
We got nobody to ask the questions.
Yeah, come on.
There they are.
I just want to know how the Brady Bunch in the 70s had Zoom. That's all I want.
They were way ahead of our time.
My.
I'd like to make a motion that we come out of executive session.
So
Second.
moved.
Rick, you need to unmute yourself.
Okay. Okay, I heard a motion and a second to come out of executive session. Deanne, we call the roll?
Banner,
Yes.
Becker,
Yes.
Souter,
Yes.
McBain,
Yes.
Liston,
Yes,
DiTilio,
Yes.
Okay. The motion was approved to come out of executive session. Okay, any items other than looking for a motion to adjourn?
so moved.
There's a motion. We are hereby adjourned. Thank you all.
Thanks for,
everyone.
Yeah.
thanks for another
night,
wonderful
everyone.
meeting.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Okay, good night.
good night.
Stay warm.